Welcome to our show, Hypnosis, Facts and Fiction. I'm your host, Danielle DELANEY, and today I'm in the company of Susan Cummings, psychotherapist, hypnotherapist, and counselor. And she's also a member of the Hypnologist Association of Quebec. So Susan, can you describe to us what you do?
Yes, I work with youth and families to help them deal with daily problems. Sometimes I work with youth and adults who have learning difficulties. I find that hypnosis helps me in that endeavor. And I oftentimes work with couples and individuals for stress-related problems.
And why do you use hypnosis?
I use hypnosis as a therapeutic tool, as an adjunct to my therapy. It helps me to have access to the unconscious mind of the client, and it helps me teach them relaxation methods. So when we're in session, the client can feel more relaxed and more at ease. And I find that it works very well in all clientele, both children and adults.
And do you explain to them what hypnosis is?
Yes, I spend quite a bit of time explaining hypnosis, the history of it, its origins, and what it means for that individual person, how it might help them in therapy. And I explain to them how they can feel safe with hypnosis. Part of that is giving them knowledge, because knowledge is power.
Right, and once you've done that, do they usually agree easily to?
I think it's important to build trust, and building trust in any therapeutic relationship I feel is the most important ingredient. So once I build the trust with the client by giving them the information, informing them about hypnosis and the therapeutic process, they begin to trust the sessions and let go and are able to have access to the information that they may want to process.
You said that you also work with children, and it must be different building trust with adults and with children.
There's not a lot of difference. I use different tools with children. I use toys and games to help them be relaxed. I allow the parent in the office with the child. Initially, I ask the parent and child for permission to see the child alone at a later date. And with children, playing games with them is the quickest way to build trust.
And is there any patient that you wouldn't treat?
Yes, there are patients I would not treat. There's sometimes a conflict of interest. There are gender-specific issues. There are patients that I may not be equipped to treat because of another diagnosis. I'm very careful to take a medical history, a psychological history when I first see the clients to ascertain whether they're appropriate for my therapy.
And what are your conclusions after using this type of therapy?
One of the things that I can conclude about hypnosis is that I will continue to use it, and I find that it's fascinating as a tool. I would encourage people to try it, to become much more informed, to read, to ask questions, try sessions, to have access to information so they can learn more about it, because it is a fascinating tool and it has tremendous therapeutic value.
Well, thank you very much, Susan. And now let's go to the street and see what people think.
Exactly. I mean, just imagine people have such control over your subconscious, and I mean, I don't even know what's in my subconscious, and let alone letting other people know what's in there. I think it can be quite frightening. It scares me a lot. It's really fearful knowing that someone can do anything to control your mind.
A certain amount, sure. I mean, to be hypnotized means you're putting yourself in the hands of someone else. So therefore, yeah, that's a little scary. There would have to be a certain amount of trust between the person who's hypnotizing you and yourself.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but I've heard that you can't you can't really be made to do anything that you don't want to, so I'd be willing to try it.
I saw the things that they can do, and it's kind of scary, the type of power they can have over you.
No, I don't think it's, I mean, I think anything could be used in a negative way, but from what I've seen of hypnotists and, you know, shows on television, it just seems to be fun. In some cases it's used for therapy even, so, you know, I guess it has some good points to it as well as some fun points.
My second guest is Dr. Brian Knight, a social worker in private practice, also a hypnotherapist, and he's also the author of the book Health and Happiness with Hypnosis. And he's also a member of the Hypnologist Association of Quebec.
Right.
So Dr. Knight, how long have you been practicing hypnosis?
For about 10 years out of 30 years I've been doing therapy.
And in terms of psychotherapy, how do you use hypnosis?
Well, hypnosis can be used three ways in psychotherapy. One is to get to the cause of a problem and then deal with it. Another one is to deal with the symptoms. And the third one is to do psychotherapy with the client while they're in hypnosis.
And what's the difference for the client being into hypnosis compared to psychotherapy?
I think the biggest difference is that they're relaxed. In the psychotherapy, it goes much quicker. What would take months or years in regular psychotherapy can take a matter of weeks or months if you're using hypnosis and have them relax in hypnotherapy.
And why does it take longer with hypnosis?
No, it takes shorter with hypnosis, much shorter.
Oh, it does?
With hypnosis, yeah, because you get to the subconscious where all the underlying messages are. Messages such as, I'm stupid, or I can't do this, or I'm too fat, or I eat too much, or I overeat, or I have to smoke, all those kinds of messages are stored in the subconscious, and you can change those messages with hypnosis.
And what do you say to people who are afraid of hypnosis?
I tell them that there's no need to be afraid of hypnosis because the hypnotic state is something that we go in and out of all day long. For example, if you're engrossed in a movie or a book, that's hypnosis. It's a narrowing of your attention so that you're focused on something. So in a way, hypnosis is guided daydreaming. You are in control. A lot of people are afraid that they're not in control, but they are. The hypnotherapist is not in control, you are. Also, you're fully conscious when you're in hypnosis. So that means you can say and do whatever you want. So there's nothing to be afraid of.
And what do you think is the #1 fear that people have?
The #1 fear that people have, in North America anyway, is not fear of death. It's fear of public speaking.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, yeah. And hypnosis is very good at helping people get over that fear.
And
I, for instance, used to be terrified of walking into a restaurant. And now I go on TV, radio, and so on and so forth, give public lectures and everything.
And what got you over your fear?
Yeah, that's right.
But what got you over the fear?
Hypnotherapy, hypnosis.
Okay, so that really worked for you.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Great. I was really fascinated to learn that you're the first hypnotherapist to offer hypnosis on the internet. Can you tell us a bit about how we can find your website?
The easiest way to find the website is to enter my name in a search engine, and then you come up with a website which is packed with information about hypnotherapy and psychotherapy. There's information there on how to hypnotize yourself. There's a massive bibliography on psychotherapy and hypnotherapy. There's ways how you can get a personalized hypnotic audio tape from me. There's lots of other information like that there.
Well, it sounds very interesting. So thank you very much, Mr. Knight.
Thank you.
And now let's listen to this week's testimony.
I'm an adopted child. I first met an hypnotherapist 6 years ago in February 1990. My purpose then was to discover memories and images of my birth.